because this is James Carville, which many of you don't know, we have to do the extended boomer intro to honor him. I know how to use a mic. Where's the microphone?
Where's your microphone? You know, when I was the age of these little youngins, you know, we didn't have these newfangled microphones.
I don't like young people. They make me fart.
Young people, they're always on my lawn. That's what I don't like. And they get on the road and they drive really fast. I'm like, damn it. Don't you understand? The speed limit says 35. That means you should drive 25 to make sure there's an extra 10 for buffer zone.
We didn't have speed limits. We had just limits. It limited us on everything. We couldn't do nothing. We just sat. That's all we did for fun. We liked it.
Well, now you must be younger than me, Sonny, because when I was your age, I couldn't just sit. I had to walk uphill in order to sit. And then when I was sitting uphill, and I had to pull myself up the hill by my bootstraps.
I don't want to hear your cry. You had uphill. You lied. You lied. I'm not younger than you. You're older. I'm old. I'm something but older than you.
No. I'm Boomer Great One. I'm older
but
than
you said uphill. You're a traitor. You had it easy.
Uphill.
We didn't even have uphill. It was just hill, damn you. What generation of whippersnappers are you from?
Hey, listen to me, you little whippersnapper. Both of my knees hurt. And my back hurts.
We didn't have knees in my day. You're a millennial hippie. You don't even have your driver's license.
You dumb so I can drive. I've been driving since 1837.
Your penis cut off surgery all popular with the kids.
The first Henry Ford automobile ever.
My butt hurts with this chair. I want a new chair. The young kids, they should pay for it now, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, if they'd stop buying avocado toast and Starbucks coffee, they could afford. Why did they buy all that stuff for?
We just had bread. We didn't have no toast. These weakling kids get their fire applicator to the toaster. Who had toast?
Right.
Who didn't have time for it? We're walking uphill all the time.
And Starbucks, we didn't even have water. All we had was the coffee beans. We had to put the beans
We just had Bucks. There's no Star. Who did this? Buck is this creepy old man. Grabbed us where we shouldn't have been grabbed, but we liked it, damn it.
That's right.
We liked it.
And I just imagined he was pulling me up by my bootstraps. I enjoyed every moment of it.
Dang whippersnappers.
Now these whippersnappers.
Don't get me started about them. Many of you don't know who James Carville is, but he was the political advisor to President Bill Clinton, and they made it so that Democrat presidents could have sex with their interns and cheat on their wives. But it was okay because it was Democrats, because he played the saxophone. See, that's if you go back through American history, they might have updated the history books. So I gotta imagine he has retired ever since. But then this he's starting to make the rounds, and I had to verify whether the thing was being said that he said on the internet is true and intellectual honesty, integrity. Because unlike you Democrats, I'm the media now, and I kind of want to actually be accurate. So, Trump is the second coming of the guy with the funny mustache, so I want to be accurate, but. What the Twittergram said, Carville is reportedly furious about the direction the party is headed, expressing to colleagues, I dedicated the best years of my fucking life to this party, only to see it taken over by a bunch of stupid motherfuckers. Everything's gone to shit. Carville is especially livid following the DNC leadership election, reportedly saying, who are these people? This David Hogg guy and the other sissy, referring to Malcolm Kenyatta. Don't know who that is. Come out of goddamn left field. Well, there goes the male vote forever. Thanks, guys. We're fucked and we deserved it. So I didn't know if he said that. And unlike the Democrat media, I wanted to look it up. So I found an article here. This is by the Huffington Post, so you know it's true. The stupidity. James Carville says Democrats should never have abandoned rural voters. Longtime Democrat strategist says his party should apologize to the world for being so goddamn stupid and losing to Donald Trump for a second time. James Carville, the round Democrat strategist who famously helped Bill Clinton get elected to the White House in 1992 and made it so Democrat politicians could have affairs on their wives while banging their interns, says his party has veered dangerously off track. His party and has abandoned the rural voting bloc Democrats needed to win presidential elections. You mean when the Democrats were the working party? Blue collar workers? Okay. The hosts of the Politics War Room podcast responded in Thursday's episode to a listener who asked whether rural voters will be hurt by President Donald Trump's international tariffs and if now is the time for Democrats to campaign hard in rural areas, prompting Carville's frustrated answer. I think it was always the time for Democrats to campaign hard in rural areas, he replied. I don't know how the party ever got away from that. The longtime strategist continued. Some of its more urbanist members and commentators live in a folly of a world that we could exist in elections by just concentrating on large urban areas. Carville argued Democrats squandered an opportunity to galvanize rural voters ahead of the 2024 election, which saw Trump win the popular vote in the Electoral College, and pleaded with members of the party must reintroduce ourselves to rural America before 2028. The strategist went on to note that large swaths of Americans who don't live in major metropolitan areas feel like the Democrat Party doesn't see them, doesn't talk to them, doesn't prioritize them, and launched a tirade about that frustration. Okay, so here we're going to find out whether he said the thing the internet said he said. But if I want to be a real Democrat journalist, I just make things up. The stupidity of we got to be the most progressive, self-righteous, moralistic people in the world, Carville lamented Thursday. And, you know, people that live in rural America are just fat, lazy, and stupid, which is decidedly not true. But that's the way that some of these urbanist elements of our party have tried to come across, he continued. And it's stupid, and they ought to apologize to the world for being so goddamn stupid. Harris performed worse in rural areas during 2024 election than former President Joe Biden did in 2020, with organizers on the ground noting after her loss to Trump that the Harris campaign effort to reach those voters just wasn't enough. You mean her hanging out on all-female podcasts about female things didn't convince any male votes either? Huh. Well, neither she nor the 2016 Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton publicly called rural voters fat, lazy, or stupid, as Carville suggested Democrats leaders have done. Clinton herself said in her description of Trump supporters as deplorables ahead of the 2016 election, handed him a political gift. Carville, who was certain Harris would defeat Trump, recently defended his reasoning. And the article ends there. Okay, so let me close out of that. It is my understanding James Carville is confused, as a lot of old boomers are, how his party failed to capture middle America. And if what is said on the internet is true, which we do not have confirmation of, he's trying to figure out how David Hogue and the younger Democrats, he at least has a complaint about modern leadership of the Democrat Party. My question to him is the same question I had to Elon Musk about why did you support Democrats this entire time? And just now, oh my God, oh my God, the Californians are doing California things. Gavin Newsom's doing Gavin Newsom things. And this is a question I got for all you baby boomers, like, the Democrat Party has gone so too far. It's gone too far. I was like, what were you expecting? What did you think the Democrat Party was? Like, the last time the Democrat Party was about work was in the 1980s. Was it Rostenkowski? If you want to go that far back. Ever since I've been an adult, it's been the party of privilege and trust fund babies. And what I don't get about people who vote Democrat, and I've seen this happen within people I know, older people I know, and then they started to, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. And people who were Democrats before, but like Carville, can't figure out, you're the political fucking genius, dude. My question to you, where do you think voting for Democrats would have gotten, one, the Democrat Party and the citizen of the country of the United States? Because let's just remove Democrat, Republican. Let's remove what we say the other want. Let's just go very simple and describe the Democrat Party's simplest platform. back when you were getting Mr. Dick sucked under the Oval Office table desk, and to today, the Democrat Party is a party of parasitism and slavery. I'm not saying that as a disparaging way. I'm not using those words in a hurtful way. I'm describing it because you are for wealth transfers. You are a socialist party. Now, maybe not a full-blown Leninist Marxist party, but ever since I've been voting, and I remember the Clinton Bush senior election, and you were there, it was always, we are going to take other people's money, which means we are parasitic. We cannot support ourselves. We are parasites. That is what the Democrat Party is for. And they are also for slavery, whether you believe it or not, because when you say we're going to take other people's money and give it to these people, I don't care the reason or the rationale, unless somehow people stole it in the first place or was ill-gotten gains. Where you could get me talking about bankers and banker ballots, but then we're going to have to talk about student loan ballots, right? You are in advocating having a policy, a platform of parasitism. You also, the opposite side of that same coin is endorsing slavery, because you are forcing people to work for other people. I believe it's Thomas Sowell who said, how much of other people's labor are you entitled to? And I don't care what your rationalizations are. Oh, this go way back in the day. They used to blame the evil corporations for everything. Now the corporations are our friends because they said DEI and ESG and the good things. And Larry Fink's now in charge of that shit. But I don't care. Oh, these people have more, or there's the oppression, which everyone would disagree with. That's the gimmick. That's the gag. That's the new strategy. Claim to be a victim. Claim you're discriminated against. Claim, oh, somehow I'm oppressed. And it's those rat bastard Jews, women, Republicans, blah, 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 blah. Never, oh, you're a lazy sack of shit and never worked. You have more kids than you could afford, right? Doesn't matter what your excuse is. At the end of the day, your group, you are advocating parasitism and enslaving other people to pay your constituents. And I don't know. I was very young when I figured this out. Well, I'm like, well, that's not going to, because then those people are just not going to work. They're just, you're going to pay them. Well, yeah, everyone's going to pay. What was it? Was it Tocqueville who said it'll work for a while until they realize they can vote the treasury in for themselves? And so my question, forget Democrat, Republican, forget, and here's a question, James. Were you just popular, or were you actually a political genius? That's I want to know, like, if I ran a Clary test on you, did you ever work? Maybe you were a Vietnam vet. Maybe I should just, put my foot in my mouth. But I'm going to guess you're not all that bright. You might have been savvy at that moment in time for that political environment at that time. But I'm going to guess you're not all that bright because no, I got to take that back. Elon Musk is pretty smart. A lot of corporations are pretty smart. And yet y'all kept voting Democrat. And I'm like, did you not? Maybe you're just ignorant. Maybe that's it. Maybe you guys are ignorant, because where did you think helping a party get elected and have influence, and above all else get their policies implemented, regardless of who was in office then, especially as it pertains to the people that were brought up and went to the public schools under this political philosophy of you're entitled to other people's money, it's okay to be a parasite, and those rat bastards over there owe you. Where did you think this was going to end up? I asked this of Silicon Valley billionaires, like, why do you Jeff Bezos, why do you donate to the Democrat Party? All you large corporations, why do you donate to the Democrat Party? Rich liberal people, I don't. I mean, if you're a trust fund, I get it. Like Dean Phillips. Who's the other guy that didn't work for a living? Mark Dayton. I can see where trust fund babies donate because they didn't work it up. But I don't understand you entrepreneurs who worked hard to create these. Bill Gates. Why do you donate to the Democrats and advocate Democrat policies, and then you're shocked when the Democrats come to take your money or make it hard for you to work and do business in California? Google alone. Now, I don't know the current CEO, and you had all these other. There was Susan, who was in charge of YouTube, not the CEO of Alphabet. I don't know if it's Google is its own, and then Alphabet is the holding group. I don't know, but all you don't we have videographic proof of you all worried about Donald Trump getting elected in 2016? Like, you were going to go out of your way to do it, but now that you have the policies and the realities of Democrat policy in effect, particularly in San Francisco, now you guys are selling your property. Now you're getting out of Dodge. Now you're moving to Texas. Tim Cook, I believe Tim Cook, right? You're the CEO of Apple, and environmentalism. And if you're not environmental, I'd imagine you didn't like Trump. Wait, now you guys are selling your downtown property space and you're going to Miami? I These are all intelligent people, including you, James. I'd imagine I thought you guys were stupid. I think about no, these guys are really smart. Where did you think giving free money away to lazy, spoiled parasites would lead? Where did you think that was going to go? And you're surprised the Democrat Party has turned into the trust fund party with David Hogan, whoever the new guy is, or Harry Sison, or Kamala, who was an affirmative action princess her entire life, people who never had to work for a living. You're surprised that they're arrogant, elitist, if not dangerous fascists at this point in time, where they are starting to, I don't like Elon Musk, where they're burning Teslas. I'll be always fascinated with how naive your boomer generation was, where just nothing's too good, our daddy's little princess, and here you go, son. Oh, that's my son. He's Jeanette. Where did you think having a political party and having political policies based on partially enslaving people, percentage of people, groups of people, to pay for parasites to just exist? Did you not think they would become kind of basically your own socialist little Frankenstein monsters that don't give a shit about the rural people, that don't give a shit about whatever, who are the villains, white males, straight people? It's not the corporations. The corporations kissed the ring and became complicit. This is why they're making so much money. Like, you heard about this game, Assassin's Creed and Snow White. That's why they're making so much money right now. What? Spare the rod, spoil the child. Free shit for at one time, the Democrat Party was the working party. And sorry, James, it's not like this is a new thing where it's become the trust fund party. It was under your boy Clinton, where it's like free shit, and we should have student loan bailouts, and that's your plan. We need government money for abortions, and we need our children paid for in daycare. It's not our responsibility. And you guys, and perhaps you haven't talked to academia and other arms of the Democrat Party, and certainly not the media, but that's what they were advocating for, is not working. That's it. That's all it is. I don't care how complicated and what political analysis you all make of it. You boomers voted in a socialist light. Now, admittedly, due to Newt Gingrich under Bill Clinton, there was welfare reform. All right. And Bill Clinton, he reigned under pretty good economic times. But if you start looking at what happened to academia and the media and what the I guess what would be the operational arm of the Democrat Party, like the people, the activists, the actors and participants in the Democrat Party, what did you and then here's another question. Of course, there was the huge .com boom. I have to look it up, but I recall correct. You know what? Let's just look it up. Total government spending to GDP US over time. Okay. Rising from 7% in 1902 to almost 40% today. Okay. Total. Yeah. Okay. I got it. Here we go. You got to make sure it's got state, federal, and local. Okay. So there we are, 1929. Oh, there's a wonderful advertisement from Forbes. Let me go to the 1990s. Okay, Clinton was 92. Yeah, look, there's the boom in 90s. So at Clinton's, it was like 35. It had a quick, brief drop down into, um, this was the dot-com boom. It went down to 29, then it went right back up. Now we're at 36. Let's just call it a third, shall we? State, federal, and local was taking a third of everybody's money. You only need 10% GDP to really run the main functions of government. So 2/3 is going to welfare programs and social security, education, shit that is not my responsibility of other people to pay for. 1/3 of the economy was being taxed. Then you start coming in with UBI, student loan bailouts. We're entitled. Nothing's our fault. Now we're at about 38%. And that one, oh, did it stop at COVID? I wonder if it stopped at COVID, because there was a big jump, unless they adjusted for it. Oh, it stops at 2011? Very interesting. All right, so it stopped there. But it's 38% today. I looked it up. Any avocation of increasing the amount of money other people were entitled to by other people in the country, don't you think you're starting to push like kind of mid-regular socialism? Things like you're entitled Obamacare, right? An attempt at kind of nationalize medicine, botched operation. What did you think was going to happen when you start paying for everybody's shit and giving them the mentality that they're brave and amazing the way they were born and they're entitled to free shit? Where did you Democrats think this would end? What did you think the Democrat Party would evolve into except fucking Frankenstein monsters? It's your own socialist Frankenstein monsters. James, you probably worked a real job when you were younger. I'm not going to bother looking it up. Why? Why do I think that? Because you've always been thin and in shape. So I imagine you had some kind of work ethic. It looks like you went to the gym. But yeah, the Democrat Party, you spoiled your children. And now your Democrat children, the little socialist Frankenstein monsters you created, they're fully in charge. And they don't give off. I bet you he's caught flack for being out of touch. This is not the working party anymore. This is the parasite party. This is the trust fund baby party. These are the psychopaths who hate different groups of America, and they're not going to go to the center of the country. I mean, look at them. You can't even, like, if have you seen the videos? Like, there's that guy who had the Trump hat and the woman wants to steal it off his head. Are you crazy? Not only did you spoil them financially, mentally through the public schools and college, and not to mention television and media, your media, the Democrat media, that was not truthful ever. Maybe at one time they were, but not in my lifetime. You're surprised that you have a bunch of psychopaths who literally, in my opinion, would love nothing more than to kill all. They'd love a civil war. They'd love it. Not all of them, of course. This idea that the professional Democrats, not your dopey, typical American Democrats, well, I'm just for the little guy. I'm just for the little guy. You think it's still them? They're there, but not the operators, not the professional Democrats. So yes, James, when you give generations of people free shit and the mentality that they're entitled to it, and that they're also oppressed by another group of people, whichever group of people you want to point out, males, whites, straights, Christians, ableists, boomers, corpos, whatever. Yeah, they're going to grow up with a warped sense of reality, a sense of entitlement, and they're going to be angry, and some of them are going to be violent. And then you're here like, oh, they're going to miss middle America. Right now, they're pissed off that Elon Musk is finding fraud, so much fraud and wasted money in Social Security, US aid, and all that. You got them so brainwashed, James. Maybe not you, but the Democrat Party got them so brainwashed that, think about this, Elon Musk is finding a shit ton of fraud where the money isn't going to the poor people or whatever the intended people are. He's actually trying to save everybody money and then say, look, all this other money should have gone to all these programs, which are all socialist leftist programs anyway to begin with. It's been going to bigwigs, connected people, celebrities, and all that. They don't care. Oh my God, you're attacking the government. The government is corrupt and fraudulent. If it was a Democrat doing this, I'd be like, yeah, you should be finding that out. You have monsters. You created monsters because you put them on easy mode. There's nothing worse than a spoiled child. Nothing worse, nothing more egomaniacal than a rich kid who didn't earn it. And I ask again, and I ask all you boomer Democrats, and I ask the Elon Musk and the Jeff Bezos and the Tim Cooks and all you assholes, California suck Democrat. Oh, Trump so bad. Oh, Republicans so when now? That was the amazing thing to me. Now Tim Cook donates money to Donald Trump. The Google CEO, he was like, whoa, wait a minute. What happened? Did you finally figure out there's a hole in the Titanic and then you're not going to have your little fucking corpos? You're not going to have your corporate empires if it's fucking taken away from you by socialists? Did you finally figure that out? Or was it all the crazy wackadoo woke leftist activist Zoomer millennial modern day Democrat types that you hired in your companies and now your production's gone to shit, that you're outsourcing jobs, and oh, you're facing a shit ton of freaking discrimination suits, barely any of which are legitimate. What did all you Democrat leaders, donors, and boomers fucking think would happen? I'll tell you this about you boomers, man, you were wrong about fucking everything. You were the most naive, ignorant generation that ever was. The street smarts I had as a kid, for God's sake. And then here I'm like, well, what's wrong? They got the gray hair. They must know what they're talking about. It said political advisor James Carville. The media said so on the talking thing. I'm like, oh, no, maybe you're just a dude, right place, right time. But you got to explain that to me, boomers. Where did you think all this hippy dippy 70s bullshit, 60s and 70s bullshit was going to get you? Hey, my kids are living at home at 35. Well, you pay them to live at home until. Why aren't men working? We just tax the fuck out of them and make it illegal to hire them and give preferential treatment to everyone else. I don't. Are we really? Really all that dumb? Here, let me ask you something, James. Here's just a test you can run through your head. Okay. What's one of the reasons you think men aren't asking women out anymore? They're not getting married. Let's see if you can you? All right. If you want, pause until you got an answer. Okay. Pause it right here. And then I'm going to tell you what the answer should be. And we'll see if you're empirical or not. We're going to see if you're street smart here. All right, James? Pause. Okay. Unpause. Women are fat. Is that not obvious enough? Is that too harsh? Does political correctness blind you guys? I don't know. I got another question. Yeah, I got a lot of questions. Why'd you advocate a party if parasitism was just, if you don't vote Democrat when you're 20, you don't have a heart. But if you don't vote Republican by 30, you don't have a brain. Holy shit. Thanks for the boomer philosophy and wisdom there, assholes. Hey, you know what? Here, is this another boomer thing? Hey, we work hard, but check this out, bro. We party hard, huh? Wow, how is the United States losing its standing among the nations of the world? It's just fascinating with such great wisdom you guys have. Anyway, thanks for making it that it's okay for Democrat politicians to have affairs and to get blowjobs at the Oval Office. That's good. That's not graping. That's good. Because he was cool and it's okay when Democrats do it. Thank you very much. Very popular president. I don't know, James. Why we gave the 13-year-old whiskey and keys to the car. Can you imagine he wrecked it? Holy shit, who knew? Oh, God. MMR. Oh, by the way, link below is a book called Enjoy the Decline, Accepting and Living with the Death of the United States, to which, James, you seem to protect your party. Like, were you a party man? Were you a corporate man? Your party, in part, is the reason that the country is going to be ruined. But let me guess, you're a brand loyalist to the Democrat Party right now. All right, it's my party. Is that all you had? You just had socialist politics under your nose. You didn't know. Were you actually naive to believe it was the Workers' Party? MMR, 10 generous dollars. Here's 10. Keep doing what you have been doing. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's all everything every young generation alive today was told is being rapidly proven to be wrong and false as these boomers lose their fucking shit. Not to mention, none of you have success implementing their advice. Sam Whiskey, most American name in America, $5. A plantation and a ghetto both have broken homes, violence, and broken families, all brought to you by Democrats. Yep, that is true. Sam Whiskey, $5 again. Cappy, they started the last Civil War, and it's funny, this boomer is married to a Republican. That's what I don't get. But you know what? In hindsight now, right? You think, oh, political advisor to Bill Clinton. No, these are just beltway connected journalism majors. None of them were that smart, right? We all kind of know this now. Did you see what's his name? President Biden? Did you see Kamala Harris? These are not smart people. I don't care what Bot Anderson Cooper says. You understand these are all nowhere near as intelligent as the television and the lighting make them seem to be. Nothing they've said has borne out. So I bet, you know what? God bless them. I hope they really love each other. Maybe they have something more important than their politics. But I don't think they're very savvy when it comes to politics. I think it was just their job. I think it was just their thing. And they happen to really love each other. Well, God bless. I'm glad you guys love each other. I think they're still married. But me personally, I don't know how a Democrat could be married to a Republican nowadays. It's too ideologically opposed, too ingrained into people's personal philosophy. One group of people is a parasite, the other group of people are producers. In theory, I know a lot of Republicans who collect welfare. Well, I'm a Republican. No, you ain't. But yeah, I don't associate with Democrats. Why would I associate with parasites and thieves? That's what you are. And you could be like, but I'm a hardworking, I just think I want to help the people. Like, okay, well then you donate the money. And it's never that way. You donate your money to those people. And that's a good Democrat. 9 out of 10 times it's, yeah, okay, yeah, I know you want to kill me. I get it. You hate me because I want to keep my own money. I don't want to be a slave to you. It's not possible to have, because it's not a difference on how we think we should best run this country. It's people's fucking identity and their goddamn religion, especially among the left. Especially. Kevin Saby, $5. What do we blame for societal decay? Divorce, weak men, poor work ethic, etc. All the above. It's no one thing, Ken. I mean, it's a lot of things. But if you wanted one thing that I think would encapsulate and capture most of it, it would be laziness. People just don't want to work. That's it. People don't want to discipline their kids. People don't want to raise their kids. People don't want to have a dad in the house. People don't want to have a mom in the house. People don't want to major in engineering. People want to major in butt plug studies. People don't want to maintain their home. People don't want to fix their house. People don't want to work extra time to pay off the student loans. Like, no joke. Tell me, if everyone who was protesting about student loans, all the effort and time and energy they put into whining and complaining about, if they just work a second job, wouldn't they have the student loans paid off? They want to borrow debt and not pay. There's that thing going around where you can finance a fucking burrito on Chipotle. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty close. The one that would encapsulate it all is laziness. I'm married, have 2 small boys, and want better for them. Okay, no joke. Go pick up my book, Zero World Problems. And then Bachelor Economics. Have them read Zero World Problems and say, boys, this is what you're going to aim for. And then Bachelor Economics, which they don't have to read all the way through. They should read only, like, I guess, the first few chapters, because they're small boys. Maybe hold off on that. Discipline your boys. Teach them self-reliance. Educate your boys. Homeschool your boys. Your boys don't have to be 22 before they have a skill or a trade that can make them $50 an hour. Teach them to be mechanics or accountants by the time they're 16. Make it so they're skilled and they don't have to worry about being poor. Teach them a work ethic. That would be the best thing you could do when they're small. And then when they get 14, give them Zero World Problems, and then also get them Bachelor Economics. And then Bachelor Economics, they just make it. It's like a reference book. It's an encyclopedia. You look at what age you are, and you say, oh, this is the chapter that's important to me or pertains to me. From 14 to death, all your major and minor financial decisions in bachelor economics. Zeljkovic, $5, man. Just wait until they take away presidential elections. Keep ranting, Cappy. I feel your pain down to the molecular level. It's not pain. It's okay. It's anger and frustration. Elon Musk also now is the biggest, but Donald Trump, though, he was a Democrat. I mean, for God's sake, I didn't even think about that, obviously. He was a fucking Democrat his whole life. Where did you boomers think a political ideology on parasitism and slavery would end? I'd like to talk to the CEO of Google, for sure. Go ahead, get an audience. Like, what the hell, buddy? Your entire organization was obviously anti-Trump. What happened? Did you guys see the monsters you started to create? Did you realize this all fucking ends unless a bunch of people, like we get a generation of kids who are like, yeah, we need to work for a living. What was it? Where was the turnaround? I just don't get how something so simple. And maybe that's just the problem, being really smart. You guys say, oh, Cappy, how arrogant. No, I got my IQ tested. I'm sick and tired of you assholes. You know, not my audience. You norms like, oh, you think you're so smart. Yeah, actually I am. And you know who says you think you're so smart? They're fucking normal and stupid people who worship popularity. So shut the fuck up. Maybe, has this happened to you guys? You see the obvious solution or what's going on. You're like, is anyone going to do the, and nobody else sees it? I got the switch right here. Great quote from Die Hard. And no one else picks up on it. And you're like, okay, to me, this doesn't seem like I need to be Albert Einstein to identify this and see where this is going, but does no one else see it but me? And apparently, you need 130 IQ to see that paying people to live. I mean, don't we have enough examples of socialism just failing? Do you need, which recent example would you like? Zimbabwe or Venezuela? Which one? And we're not talking you dipshit liberal arts majors in college. We're talking the president and CEO of Google. We're talking the president of the United States. We're talking Elon fucking Musk. We're talking Tim Cook, I bet you. If we look him up, I guarantee he's got an IT degree, Tim Cook. Because I think, didn't he kind of help him? Help the guy? Tim Cook. Senior vice president. What's his degree? Bachelor's of Science. Career. IBM Personal Computers. Director Fulfillment. He has a BS. I imagine he has a degree in, what would you major in back in the day for computers? Electrical engineering. Tim Cook, bachelor's degree. Bachelor's degree in industrial engineering. Okay. So Tim Cook isn't an idiot. Tim, you understand engineering, right? Physics, chemistry, it needs to balance. Where, Tim, do you understand? Don't feed the wild animals, because then they will overpopulate. And do you understand the fruit fly experiment, right, Tim? Why did you endorse socialists? I guess maybe it's my roughly, I mean, I got it tested around 138, 139. Maybe it's just that extra couple points I got over you, Tim. Maybe I can say, hey, that bad thing's going to happen. And then everyone yells at you that you're the second coming of a guy from Austria who paints very poorly. Fuck this place. Fuck it. I just, where did you think having generations of trust fund babies raised by the government would lead? And now James Carville, shocked, they hired two pansy fuckwits for the Democrat chair party. So it's frustration, Zelchko. It's like, how, and you know, I'm in the last third, right, of my life. I don't care anymore, man. It's going to be a great time chronicling these boomers. Just it's great, James. You provided me vindication. Y'all never knew what you were doing. You had no clue. And hopefully, maybe younger generations of Americans can look at this and say, wow, the baby boomers didn't know fucking shit. Neither did Gen Xers. The millennials definitely don't know shit. And maybe instead of hating whatever, white people or males or the Jews or straight people, maybe we stop hating everyone and we get off our ass, we get jobs and make wise financial decisions. And instead of spending 6 years for a master's in music therapy, we become carpenters and then our housing problem is solved. Oh, crazy. Only the man with the magic 139 IQ could figure that out. It's like, really? And here's the other thing, like, think of all the like, think of the absurdity of the argument I'm having, man. Like, it's absurd I have to make this argument. Hey, if you spoil people, they become insufferable parasitic pains in the asses. You can have an economy based on parasitism. The fact I gotta argue with political geniuses, everyone, all the adults, you know what? Maybe this culture doesn't deserve to go on. Maybe, and why would I argue? Let reality beat the shit. The economy will beat the shit out of you. The laws of economics will win. Reality and nature will win. It's increased, especially the more I've hung out with people in America. In general, I have a great disdain for Americans. Not all, of course, individual, of course, but most Americans suck, and it's tiring and exhausting arguing things that should be common sense. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Um, I can't convince you all that Barack Obama was a pretty boy Floyd that you were just told to elect, and that his socialism and his touchy feel good, and he's a diversity hire, that's not going to translate to higher income standards of living for you. If I got to argue with you people, maybe I got to realize that this country is doomed, this people is doomed, and there's nothing I can do about it. And if anything, I should make investments to bet against it, which kind of I have. But I should, and you're right, Zelchko, I should be more of a stoic. I shouldn't let old boomer Carville, oh my God, the Democrats turn into so, don't get it. I don't get it. They're not working uphill. You're doing great, Grandpa. I should just say, yep, you're right, Grandpa. Sure is a Scooby-Doo mystery. And then just move on. And I've made, but I shouldn't have let it gotten me to me that. I just find it. I guess maybe I had to point out this was like one of the. He's the best Democrat boomer ever. He is the epitomal Democrat boomer. Free shit. Come on, baby, light my fire. The 60s. Am I right, kids? Popular thing. Blowjobs under disc. President. Don't worry about it, Hillary. Huh? What do you mean they turn into a bunch of socialist pain in the ass fascists? I don't get where are they? Why aren't they talking to the farmers? Sam Whiskey, $2. Cappy, he's 80. Why does he I don't know why. 80 years old, right? I don't know why he cares so much. Why does Robert Reich still tweet out about socialism and tax the rich? Robert Reich, same administration, tweeting out. He's got to be about 80 himself, definitely in his late 70s. Tax the rich. Okay, thank you, Robert. Go back to the nursing home. My truth, the king. I heart the Raging Cajun's appearance in Old School, where Will Ferrell almost passed out in the debate on governmental involvement in biotechnology. Oh, was that a movie? Yeah, Will Ferrell. Yeah, let me ask you some truth. Let's be honest. Okay, so Will Ferrell, who, in terms of the man, nothing but respect for him. Admit he's not that funny, though. His movies aren't that funny. Not his fault if they wrote a good script. He's not that funny. Anchorman, not that funny. Old School, not that funny. You were just drunk, Truth, right? You're just drunk and happy in your 20s. And you thought Will Ferrell was funny. Will Ferrell's not that funny. I'm glad he make a shit ton of money off of my generation. Us thinking he was cool when we were drunk or high. Real $5. Regarding your last video, you ask who isn't for the kids. Me, F them kids, not like a post-wall fat middle-aged school teacher. Just on principle. I see what you did there. Not like yes, I get it. You're right. They are not my kids. They're not your kids. And they are not our responsibility. And I would never be a Democrat and vote to enslave other people to raise other people's kids and pay for them, right? Like property taxes for single people. No. I do feel bad for children who are taken advantage of, who are committed crimes against, and that's why we do need like a child protective services, and there should be laws protecting children, obviously. So I'm for like your fellow man, your fellow human being. Your kids are fellow human beings. They should be afforded protection under the law and everything else like that. And there should be some added protections because they're children, but I don't have to pay for them. Not my problem. And if I really felt bad, like if there was no socialism, right? We had 7% GDP in taxes. I would probably, out of moral obligation for a country, if I like this country, help people out. I would do some kind of charitable work. And depending on the quality and caliber of people, like right now, I'll never help an adult. Never. Kids, I'll help out because the kids are innocent. Uh, but I already pay my money to the public schools. I'm done giving money to the children. But you are right. It is not your responsibility. Modern wagey, $2. Cap, please do a study, a video how modernism is serfdom. Well, what is modernism? That just means we don't believe in reality. We want free shit. And let me ask, my understanding of modernism, or I'm sorry, is it modernism or postmodernism? Because both are just made up baby boomer bullshit from fraudulent faux theoretician philosopher types. That's all it is. I don't believe in any of that shit. Not to say that those aren't concepts people have, but there's no practicality. If I recall, postmodernism was I want free shit because we want it. That was it. And I hate to say it, a lot of those baby boomer philosophies were that simple. My truth, the king. Timmy knows what he's doing. Just because he's smart doesn't mean he's going to exercise logic when selling two normies and NPCs, finance, dating, 98th and a half. What? Timmy knows what he's doing. Just because he's smart doesn't mean he's going to exercise logic when selling to normies and NPCs. Finance, date that I finance that iPhone. Finance that thank God I got a 139 IQ because no one could translate that fucking code. Finance that iPhone 98th and a half. Oh, the 98th and a half model. Yes. Okay, I got that now. Tim Cook. Tim Cook knows what he's doing. Just because he's smart doesn't mean he's going to exercise logic when selling normies. You're right. He could be a scumbag. He could lie. Remember when he was all like, if you don't believe in global warming, I don't want you as a client. It could have been totally marketing on his end. And now all of a sudden he's with Donald Trump. Reen Schwartzer, $5. The new entertainment is watching the normies suffer and running around it being confused past the pop. Yeah, I'd feel bad for the normies if they weren't supremely arrogant that they knew everything because they were wearing the right clothes or they got the car finance or they're just cooler than you. Or they have college degrees and they're educated and they're smarter than you, or they called you literally someone who believes in murdering and genocide groups of people because they disagreed with you, accusing you of some kind of atriarchy because you were born with a stick and not a hole, and therefore you hated the whole people because you were a stick person. Yeah, I do enjoy watching those people suffer because they hated me because I didn't conform, and that's fine by me. That's fine. I love watching them. Once that money's pulled out and you're not pretty no more, once you get no more student loans, it's real fun. Once your dad stops funding you, bro, because your dad's house of cards collapsed and now you got to borrow money, keep up the bro style, bro. Why y'all go work for community banks and be big time bankers? Ken Sabi, $5. I watched your Steam stream where you mentioned the Queenum IQ test. I scored 145, then bought Curse the High IQ. Things started to make sense. So that Queendom test, it was when I was, I think, still in college, it came out. It's been around for a while. And you would argue that almost the Queendom test should be the the test you go to because so many more people have been tested with it, assuming they kept their data and kept, okay, here's the mean, here's the Bell distribution. I would say that's a superior test. But I saw research where the queen, and more recently, people are just posting super high numbers. I'm wondering if they dumbed it down recently or in the past 5 years because I saw research that said, okay, here's the WAISC test. That's the official IQ test. And they showed in the Queendom test, you subtract about 8 or 9 points from it. I mean, you're still off the charts, but I'm wondering if they started fucking with the Queendom IQ test. But if you scored 145, yeah, I mean, you're probably up there. Half dollar, $2. Step Brothers is a great feral movie. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Never saw it. I saw old school Anchorman, and I think after Anchorman, I'm like, that was enough for me. I'm like, no, no. I hope Will made a ton of money off of a bunch of drunk frat bros, but I do not want to watch it. Link below. Enjoy the decline, except in living with the death of the United States. James, you might like to read. James, you're doing very well. Can you read still? Do you understand math and charts? Why don't you go look up that book? You just didn't provide enough money to the poor kids, James. There weren't enough blowjobs at the Oval Office. If you did that, then the Democrat Party would be more sane. But you didn't provide enough money to the kids. Hey, Nuke. $5 anime recommendations. Well, Cowboy Bebop. Why are you asking me? You're the better expert at that. Venus Wars was a good one. That was only an hour long, but it didn't suck. Vampire Hunter D. Have you seen Ninja Scroll? If you haven't seen Ninja Scroll, go see Ninja Scroll. And I like Afro Samurai 1 and 2. Don't watch them if you're in a bad mood. They're very dark. They're really Ranma 1/2 is cute. It's very cute. Ranma 1/2. I like the first season of Gintama, and then it's just gone to shit. And that's about it. There's not a lot of good anime out there. There really isn't. All right, see you guys later. Toodles.